What's going on, YouTube? I am the Masked Man, and today I want to review the first half of season 2 of Blackish. Now, what I will say is that this is one of my favorite TV shows on television. It's one of my favorite shows, and this show has a lot of great things going for it. I think the writing is very good. I think the actors are very strong. And I think that the children of this show are very likable, like the real life people. Um, the children, Marcus Scribner, Miles Brown, Marseille Martin, and Yara Shahidi, they're just really great, people. It's like, I'll tell you a quick bit. I heard Yara Shahidi on do an interview, and she talked about in the interview how she and Marcus Scribner would have little conversations and debates about Machiavelli. And I just felt that not the Tupac album, but the writer or the books, Machiavelli. And I was like, man, this girl is 15. She got a lot of personality. She's talking about, a lot of deep stuff. This girl's got something going for herself. She's going to be somebody when she grows up. And all of these children are just seem like really nice people, and this seems like a very strong show. The show has Anthony Anderson as the lead, Tracy Ellis Ross, who plays Rainbow. It has Lawrence Fishburne, Jennifer Lewis, who I love in everything I see her do. She's one of those actresses or actors that I love in everything I see them do. It's like she has that effect on me, and Paul Giamatti has that effect on me. It seems like no matter what I see them in, I at the very least love their character, if not the entire project. Um, Blackish is a great show. I think it's creative. I think it doesn't have a lot of typical storylines, but what I will say is that it seems like it's a show that's trying to go along the lines of, like, the Cosby formula. Like, it's a black show. It's a deliberately black show. It's not a show that just has a couple of black stars on it. It's officially a black show, but it talks, it really deals in, stereotypes. It talks about, the black experience from the perspective of somebody who is upper middle class, somebody who is like a doctor and an executive at a advertising company. And not only is she a full-time surgeon, and he's an advertising director, they are both that, and they have enough time not only to be together and to be in a good relationship, but they have enough time to be around their kids very frequently, which is, kind of the scenario of the Cosby Show. It's very similar. It's like Cliff was a doctor, and Claire was a lawyer, and they were both pretty accomplished in their field, and they both had a lot of free time. Like, time was not an issue. It was, I think it may have been brought up in like a couple of episodes for, for the sake of comedy, but they never had an issue of having enough time to spend with the children. And they really didn't even dig that deeply into their jobs, into like, what they went through as a black OBGYN or as a black lawyer. Thinking back on the Cosby Show, because it doesn't even come on television no more because of the Cosby scandal, I don't even know what kind of lawyer Claire Huxtable was. I don't know what kind of law she practiced. They never showed her in a courtroom. They never showed her litigating a case. I think they may have shown her with a client or two, but I can't for the life of me think of specifically what kind of law she was involved in. And if she was a lawyer, why didn't they show her, fighting any cases for black people? I feel like this is one of those shows, that is a good show. It's a great show. It's a show that is needed. It's a very needed show. It is the best show with black people on television. It shows black people as very humane. It shows black people as intelligent. It shows all of that. But it's really just a show that's like, look, white people, we're civilized. We're civilized people. We're nice. It's that kind of a thing. And I'm not dissing it. I think it's a great show. And I think if there was a thriving black media, independent black media, that would be a fine show for it to exist within that. But it lives in what I would call the Cosby tree. And I would like it more, or I would like a show that had an all black cast, that had reasonably successful black people who lived along the Good Times or the Jefferson family tree. Because some people may argue that if they really dig deeply into like racism and like discrimination at work, and they really talked about tragedy, the black men getting shot or police brutality, if they tackled those issues and if they took them seriously, that it wouldn't be a comedy show. But if you look in the past, shows like Good Times, especially before they killed off the James character, and shows like the Jeffersons dealt with things like that. The Jeffersons even like had an interracial couple, but they poked fun at, how that white man is possibly untrustworthy and how she was suspect for being with that. Like, they had those kind of themes in the show. And I feel like shows today, shows that are classified as black shows, can deal with, interracial dating and what it means today. And they can deal with, black people who are so-called sellouts and why they are considered that. Black people who are not happy with Barack Obama. They can deal with a lot of issues, and I feel like this is a black show that's supposed to make white people comfortable with black people, instead of a black show that stands up for black shit and who speaks from the black perspective. It's like I'm not doing a show to make you like me more. I'm doing a show to tell you what I think, to tell you what I'm going through, what this system is doing to me, how this system is affecting me, how this system is impacting me, my problems with you, what I don't like about you, what I don't like about my life. I don't even feel that you would have to make the family poor because it wasn't necessary in the Jeffersons. I feel like you can make the family, upper middle class all the way up to wealthy and just put them in a good neighborhood and let them have to struggle with all of the rules that the homeowners would put on them. And you know, if Bo is in corporate America, now Weezy didn't work in the Jefferson because she was living lovely. Or they didn't make a big deal out of whatever she did. But, you know, let Bo have problems in corporate America and with people being racist against her. It's like, let's deal with some real issues. Like, you got this show. Let's talk about some real things that go on with the black community. Let's not have hey, let's make white people feel comfortable. Let's not do a television show about the word nigga and not talk about that this word did not come from white people. That white people did not actually invent the word nigga like a lot of black people think. If you got all these people who are capable of making a show, producing a show, writing for a show, you got all these minds. You mean to tell me that nobody who was responsible for producing this show, for making this show, for writing this show, had any idea that the word nigger is taken from an ancient African word called negus, Negus, that means king, that means God, that's where nigger comes from. And there's like 30 or 40 different spellings and meanings of the word before it ever became an American epithet to demean black people, and how black people taking it and using it is subconsciously trying to bring it back to its original meaning, even if they are unaware of where it started from. That discussion wasn't had in the show, and I don't think Anthony Anderson is even aware of it, because I saw an interview where he did with Big Boy, and he was talking about how he's trying to stop saying the word, how he went to Africa and people called them that, and he felt very uncomfortable. And he should know the real history of the word, and Big Boy should know the real history of the word. And I think that episode, instead of Bo being so anti the N word and Dre having this deep contemplation about the an existential thing about his right to say the word, it should have been about, look, this is the history, this is what it actually meant, this is what it was used for, and I'm not going to allow white people to define what I am and am not able to say about myself and to myself. Like, you don't have any right to do that. And there's a lot of other things in the show, but I think it's a very good show. I think it's a very entertaining show. I think Deon Cole, one of my favorite comedians, is really shining in this environment. Like I said, I love the children in the show. My favorite character is Diane, the little girl with the glasses. She is delightfully like evil. She's like an evil little girl who's like, who's always plotting and planning and getting into people's heads. Um, I think Bo is a good character. All in all, I think this show is highly watchable. It's very entertaining. It really has some original writing, some original storylines. And then it's not a show that's too typical. That's very lock and step in the format of older shows. It does try a good job of being original, and I think it's fun and entertaining, and I want to see how it progresses. I would encourage anybody who hasn't seen it to watch it. I would also encourage you, if you like that, to watch older black shows like the first and second season of Good Times, The Jeffersons, even shows like All in the Family. I think they dealt with serious issues and they made it funny. And I feel like this show is really, trying to go, the We Human 2 route, which is fair. But I'm not gonna harp on that too much, and I don't want to disrespect the show. I think it's a good show. So let me know what you thought. Let me know what you think about the show. Let me know what you think about my review. How am I doing? I'm new to this, and I'm always trying to improve. So any suggestions, any tips, any pointers you have will be appreciated. Like the video, dislike the video. Be honest. I don't ask that you pretend to like something that you don't. Subscribe to my channel. Give me suggestions for any subjects, anything in the news, anything in the media that you want me to talk about. You can email me at Mr. Massmans with an S business@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter at the Mr. Massman on Twitter. And that's all I have to say. And I will see you in the next video.